Hello student, this is Pallab Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallab Darbari classes. In this video we will discuss Microeconomics class 11th, Forms of Market, Volume 1. In this video we will discuss market, the types of the market, features of the market, and we will discuss in detail perfect competition. Let us see the meaning of the market. In economics, the concept of market is comparatively broader than what it usually means. It is not only limited to a geographical location known as mandi or bazaar, but it also implies the presence of buyers and sellers, presence of commodity or product that the buyers and the sellers are ready to compete with each other to buy and sell. In a very simple word, we can say that market is a platform where the buyers and the sellers come closer to each other, and between them the contract took place. Contract of buying and selling of goods took place. So that platform is called market. Before proceeding, let us understand the meaning of market, firm and industry, because these are the terms which we will come across in this chapter. So we should know the meaning of market, firm and industry. We have seen the meaning of the market. I repeat it again. Platform where the buyers and the sellers are brought into contact with each other in order to exchange goods and services. The next is firm. Firm basically refers to an individual production unit. What is firm? Individual production unit operating under an industry. It means, what is firm? Firms is the individual production or business unit. The next thing is, what is industry? Industry is the collection, or it is the sum total of all the firm dealing in the same line of production. So what is industry? Industry is the sum total of the firm operating in the same line of production. So under the industry, all the firms dealing the same type of the product comes. Example, Bombay Cotton Mill, it's a firm. Cotton industry, it's an industry. When I say cotton industry, it means all the mills dealing with the production of cotton comes. So what is industry? Industry is the sum total of all the firm manufacturing or dealing the same line of production or same line of goods. Now let us discuss the features of market. The first is buyers. Listen, in the case of the market, buyer, these are the person who should be present, because without the presence of the buyer, the market has no sense. The market will not come in origin. So it refers to those who demand a commodity to fulfill their satisfaction. So without the buyer, the market is totally incomplete. The other is seller. I mean, the buyers and seller, these are the two persons. So without the seller as well, the market is incomplete, because he is the person who made the goods available and who earns the profit by giving the goods to the consumers. The next is commodity. Commodity refers to the tangible or the intangible commodities and the services which the seller want to sell and the buyers want to buy. So what is commodity? It is the thing for which the market is created. The next is area. Area refers to the place where the buyers and the sellers can contact each other and interact. Next is competition. Remember one thing, there must be some sort of competition among the buyers and the sellers to buy and sell commodities in the market. When I say competition, it means buyers might be more, must be more, who can raise the price, and sellers should also be there, who can increase or decrease the supply price. So the competition should be there. Now let us see the forms of market. In order to understand the forms of market, let us first analyze the factors on which the market structure depend. Remember one thing, following are the two important factors on which the market structure depends. First one is number of sellers of the commodity, and the other one is nature of the commodity. On the basis of these two factors, we determine the types of market. First is number of sellers of commodity. This refers to the number of the sellers in the market selling the product. That is, whether there exists a single seller or a large number of sellers in the market. On the basis of the number, we also determine the types of market. The second is nature of commodity. Nature of commodity refers to the nature of commodity, that is, whether the commodity are close substitute or perfect or just a substitute or heterogeneous goods. So on the basis of these two factors, we determine the types of market. Let us see the forms of market. Basically, there are two forms of the market. One is called the perfect competition and the other one is called imperfect competition. So how many types of the market do we have? We are having two types of the market. First is perfect competition and the second one is imperfect competition. Let us see what is perfect competition. It is that type of the market where large number of buyers are there, large number of sellers are there, and free entry and exits are there, and every producers are manufacturing the same type of the goods. It means all the goods are homogeneous in nature. The next is imperfect competition. It is the type of the market where the number of buyers and sellers are comparatively less. If we compare it with from the perfect competition, definitely the number is less. Here the goods are of heterogeneous nature. When I say heterogeneous nature, it means that goods are different from other goods. Let us see the types of the imperfect competition. Remember one thing, there are certain types of imperfect competitions. First is monopoly, second is monopolistic competition, then duopoly, then oligopoly. So there are four types of imperfect competition. The first one is monopoly, second one is monopolistic competition, third is duopoly, and the last one is oligopoly. In this video, we will discuss the perfect competition only, and in the next videos, we will discuss monopoly, monopolistic, duopoly, and oligopoly. In our syllabus, we don't have duopoly, but we will discuss the duopoly as well for the understanding. But it is not in our syllabus. Now let us see what is perfect competition. This type of the market structure refers to a market which consists of large number of buyers and large number of sellers, such that no individual seller is able to influence the existing market price of the product. The first feature is, we will discuss all the features in detail. Firstly, let us see the definition. Remember one thing, in the case of the perfect competition, all the sellers in a perfect competition market are producing homogeneous products. When I say homogeneous product, it means they are manufacturing or dealing the same type of product, totally 100% identical product, and they are selling it at the uniform price. Now let us discuss the features. The first feature is large number of buyers and sellers. Or in other words, we can say that in the case of the perfect competition, the firms are price taker, they are not the price maker. Let us see what it means. Listen, in the case of the perfect competition, the number of buyers and sellers are unlimited. When I say the number of buyers and sellers are unlimited, what it means? It means that the percentage of share in the market, it means every producers are having a very small share in the market. Why they are having a very small share in the market? Because the number is unlimited. Consumers are having ample of choices. So the individual producers are having very limited share in the market. Fine. So with the small share in the market, it is impossible for the producer to manipulate or to influence the prices. The same thing happens in the case of the consumers as well. The share of the consumer is also very small because the number is large, because of which consumers also cannot affect the price of the product. So here what happens? In the case of perfect competition, the price will be determined by the industry, and whatever the price the industry decide, every firm is supposed to sell at that very price. As we have discussed earlier, when I say industry, what it means? It means the sum total of all the firms. It means the collectively the price will be determined. Collectively all the firms determine the price. The firm determine the price on the basis of demand and supply. Once the price is being decided, every firm, every individual firm is supposed to sell the product at that very price. Why? Because each firm is having a very small share in the market. Since the share is very small, So individually they cannot even think of affecting the price of the product. So in the case of the perfect competition, the price and the marginal revenue, I mean average price and the margin revenue, both are equal and parallel to x-axis. It means constant. That is why it is also being said that in the case of the perfect competition, industry determine the price. It means that the firms are the price taker, they are not the price maker. Why the firm is the price taker, not the price maker? Because the number of firms are unlimited, because of which every firm is having a very small share in the market. And the question is how the price is being determined, that we can see over here. Collectively all the firm determine the price on the basis of market forces. Once the price is being decided, we know that the price is decided at the point where both demand and supply is equal. So here we can say price will be decided at the point where demand and supply is equal, that is point E. At the point E, demand and supply is equal, yes or no? At the point E, the available price is P. It means whatever be the price at the point E will be the market price for the product. I mean industry will determine the price at the point where both demand and supply is equal. And once they have determined the price, every firm is supposed to sell the product at that very price. They cannot even think of changing the price. I hope the determination of the price is clear. I hope the point is also clear how the firm is the price taker, not the maker. Let us see the next feature. Next feature is a very simple one, that is a homogeneous product. Question is, what is homogeneous product? This implies that all the firms in perfect competition market produces homogeneous product. What it means? It means that every firm is manufacturing the same quality product. It means the quality of the product is same, quantity is same, color is same, feature is same, etc. This indicates that the buyers are indifferent between the products of different firms. Why? Because the firms are identical. Due to homogeneity of the products, existence of uniform price is guaranteed. Since the quality feature is same, so the same price should be charged for the product. The product of different firms are qualitatively and quantitatively homogeneous. Remember one thing, the very important point is, in the case of the perfect competition, the product is qualitatively and quantitatively are homogeneous. Homogeneous means identical. Let us see the next point, that is free entry and exit for the firm. This feature is very important. Most of the time will be asked separately in 3 marks. What it means? Listen, there are no restrictions on the entry and the exit of old and the new firm. This feature is available only in the long run and not in the short run. As in the short run, some factors are fixed which obstruct the free entry and exit of firms. This feature has an important implications that all the firms in the long run earns normal profit or zero profit. What it means? Let me explain. Listen, in the case of the perfect competition, the free entry and the exit of the new firms are there. There is no restriction. I mean any firm can enter and any firm can quit the organization. But remember one thing, this feature is available only in the long run. The question is why this facility is not being availed or this is not found in the short run. Because once the firm has invested the money, you really feel that once you have invested the money you quit the organization? Answer is no. Firstly, the businessman try to recover the money invested, and after recovering the money he may think to continue or quit. So this free entry and the exit is not available in the case of short run, but definitely this feature is found in the long run. Why in the long run and how? Suppose in the short run the organization or the firm is earning normal profit or super profit. If the firm in the short run is earning normal profit and super profit, when I say normal profit, it means if the firm is able to meet out the running cost and they are earning okay profit, that is called normal profit. And when I say abnormal profit, it means they are earning a lot. The firm is in the position to meet out the fixed cost, they are in the position to meet out the variable cost, and after meeting out the variable cost they are left with surplus. That is called abnormal profit. So in the short run, if the firm is earning normal profit or abnormal profit, then they may decide to continue the business. But if in the short run the organization is earning loss, they are suffering a loss, then in the long run they may decide, or they will definitely decide to quit the organization. So this feature of free entry and the exit totally depends upon the firm. They may decide, they may continue the organization, they may continue the production in the long period, or they may quit the production or stop the production. Remember one thing, in the long run, the firm is earning normal profit or zero economic profit. That is not zero profit, that is zero economic profit. When I say zero economic profit, it means the firm is able to meet out the fixed cost and be in the position to meet out the variable cost. That's it. And little bit money profit they are earning. They are not earning super profit, luxurious. They are not enjoying the luxury. The zero economic profit should not be mistaken as a zero profit that we have discussed, as it implies that the firm are able to earn enough to continue their production. Variable cost they are able to meet out, fixed cost they are recovering, and after recovering all the costs they are earning little bit profit. That is called zero economic profit. In other words, the zero economic profit measures the opportunity cost of the firm to continue production or shut down. If there exists abnormal profit in the short run, then the new firm will enter in the market in the long run. That we have discussed. Now let us discuss the next feature, that is the perfect knowledge among buyers and sellers. Both buyers as well as sellers are fully aware of the conditions prevailing in the market. Every producers are selling the same type of the product, so every buyer is having the complete information about the product and about the price charge of the product. Similarly, the buyers, sellers are also aware about the paying capacity of the consumers, because the price is determined by the industry and the industry has determined the price after considering the paying capacity. So every seller is having the complete information about the buyers and the prevailing or paying capacity of the buyers. Let us see the implication. As the buyers and the sellers are fully aware of the market conditions, so no seller can either sell their product at higher prices or at a lower prices than the market price. Since they are aware, so the seller cannot think of befooling the consumers, or consumer also cannot think of befooling the seller, because everybody knows their conditions. Let us see the next feature, that is no transport cost. This is mostly what happens under the perfect competition. The product is being sold at the factory gate. Since the product is being sold at the factory gate, so the transportation cost is zero. So in this type of the market, the transportation cost is not charged or not added, because mostly the product is being sold at the factory gate. Let us see the next feature, that is the perfect mobility of factors of production. There exists geographically and occupationally perfect mobility of the factors of production. This implies that the factors of production can move from one place to another and can shift from one job to another, because everywhere they will follow the same production method, technique is the same goods is being manufactured, so they don't have any problem. This feature implies that input price, that is the wages, remains the same throughout the industry. Next feature is no promotional and selling cost. There is no advertisements and promotional cost incurred by the firm. The selling cost under perfect competition market is always zero. Remember one thing, every person is selling the same product. The product is identical and the price is being decided by the industry, and once the industry has determined the price, so every firm has to sell at that very price. If the firm spend the money on advertisement thinking that they will attract more consumer, it means even if the more consumers will come, the selling cost cannot be added on the total cost of the product. They will charge the same price which the industry has decided. It means this selling cost and the advertisement cost they have to bear of their own. It means if the firm try to incur the expenditure on promotion and the selling cost, that cost they have to bear of their own. It means that they have to compromise with the share of profit, which the firm don't want to compromise. So the promotion and the selling cost is zero in the case of perfect competition. Let us see the pure competition and the perfect competition. Often economists differentiate between pure competition and the perfect competition. Firstly, I just tell you, this in the perfect competition is the hypothetical condition. It is a myth. It never exists in the real world. It only exists on the piece of the paper. In real world, we can say the pure competition may be found in some places, but perfect competition is a 100% myth. The concept of pure competition market was initially suggested by Professor Chamberlain, who listed the following 4 main conditions to be necessary for pure competition. The conditions are same which we have seen in the case of the perfect competition with the little differences. For example, in the case of the perfect competition, the large number of buyers and sellers are there. The same feature is being found in pure competition. Homogeneous product, the feature is the same. Free entry, same feature. The only difference between the pure competition and the perfect competition is independent decision making. It means in the case of pure competition, the liberty is being given to the seller that they can determine the price of their own. I mean, here the industry will not decide the price, but the liberty is being given to the seller to fix the price of their product. Clear? So this is the only difference. Now let us see the price determination in short run. The question is, what is price determination? Remember one thing, we know that, and we have already discussed the producer's equilibrium in the producer's equilibrium topic. But children, if you have not seen my video on the producer's equilibrium, please go through the producer equilibrium video, because after that the concept might be clear to you, but I just give the idea a little bit to you right now. Remember one thing, when I say producer's equilibrium is that level of output reaching to which producers earn the maximum profit. So what is producer equilibrium output? Producer equilibrium, it is that level of output at which producers earn the maximum profit. So every producer want to sell the product or want to manufacture the product at the producer equilibrium level of output, because at that level of the output producers are earning the maximum profit. So let us see how the price will be determined. Remember one thing, in the short run the producers may earn abnormal profit, the producers also may earn normal profit, and the producer may suffer losses. So in the short run the normal profit can be earned, abnormal profit can be earned, and the producer may suffer losses. Let us see. So there are following different short run equilibrium situations which may be prevail in the short run. Let us see what are the abnormal profit conditions are there. In the case of the abnormal profit, we know that the average revenue is greater than average cost. In the case of the normal profit, average revenue and the average cost both are equal. In the case of loss, we can say that the revenue is less but the cost is more. So these are the conditions which the producers may undergone through in the short period. In the short run, he may earn abnormal profit, he may suffer loss, he may earn normal profit. Now let us see how the normal profit can be earned. Listen, in the case of the perfect competition, we know that the margin revenue is always parallel to x-axis. Why it is always parallel to x-axis? Because in the case of the perfect competition, the same price will be charged from the product. I mean, the producers cannot increase or decrease the price. So the price of the product is same. So margin revenue and the average revenue is always equal in the case of perfect competition. Remember one thing, the producer's equilibrium point is that point, that level of output where the AR and the MC is equal. We can see that at OQ level of the output, MC and MR is equal. So this is the level of the output. I mean, the producer will only manufacture OQ level of output. Let us see, at this level of output, will he earn the profit or he suffer a loss? Profit totally depends upon the average cost. At this level of output, let us see, at this level of output, if the cost is less, then we can say that the producer will earn profit, and if cost is more, then loss, and if cost is equal, normal profit. Here we can see that at OQ level of the output, average revenue is CQ and average cost is BQ. So the profit is BC. So this point, that is BC, BA is the profit which the producer will earn in the shorter period. Let us see when he will earn the normal profit. As we know that in the case of the perfect competition, MR is parallel to x-axis. We know that AR and MR both are equal. The output level will be determined at the point where both AC and MC are equal, MR or MC is equal. So the level of the output is OQ. The price is P. In the case of the normal profit, we can say that at OQ level of output, average revenue and the average cost is equal. If the average revenue and the average cost is equal at the OQ level of output, it means that the producer will earn normal profit. Now let us see when the organization will suffer losses. At OQ level of output, if the average revenue is less and the average cost is more, then we can say that the organization is suffering a loss. Here we can say that at OQ level of output, the average revenue is CQ and the average cost is BQ. So the organization is they are suffering a loss. The loss is ABCP. Remember one thing now, let us see in the long run how the price will be determined. We know that the industry determines the price. Let us see in the long run, will the firm suffers a loss or earn normal profit or the super profit. We have seen that in the longer period in perfect competition, the firm earns zero economic profit or the normal profit. The question is how, why? If the firms are earning super or normal profit in the long run, we have seen that if they are earning super or normal profit, the firm decide to continue the business in the longer run. Normal profit continue to run the business, and if they are suffering a loss, decided to quit the business. That we have seen in fact. Now let us see the graphical presentation. We know that long run marginal revenue and the long run average revenue both are equal and parallel to x-axis. Long run marginal cost determine the quantity to be manufactured. Here the quantity manufactured is OQ. At OQ level of output, the long run average cost and the long run average revenue both are equal. So in the long run, we have seen that the normal profit, the firm earns normal profit. That's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Dear subscribers, if you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload the new video, you get the notification.